Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, April 4th. We've been playing the Asian account, and we didn't even get two of them done, and that's rather annoying. We've got other things we need to do, so win 2 games with 100 mage. Let's trade that out. Destroy 40 minions, deal 100 damage, play 15 demons. I think I can get all 3 of these done on the European account. We don't, I believe, have any card packs open here. So we'll do the Tavern Brawl, play as a Warlock, play the demons, do a bunch of damage, and kill a bunch of minions, and hopefully we could maybe have a really accelerated experience through the European account so we can then get to the Americas account and get that done. I don't want to spend the rest of this evening up till like 1 or 2 in the morning just trying to get ranked victories. I actually need ranked victories, I guess, for every single account because I've fallen down in all of them since the new month has started. But it's just getting harder and harder. We're going through games. Here's a game called Type, T-Y-P-E. Let's see. It's the only game by this developer. It's for 99 cents, no discount. And it seems like, if I were to guess, it's almost like an equivalent to Tetris with typing, which that's not a terrible thought. Like, type the word before it falls down. Is that really how this game plays? I need to watch the video and see how this. Now the problem with a typing game that's just a game and doesn't teach you how to do proper keyboarding is this is just going to be something to let you practice after you already know the right way to type. And it seems like this game is going to just continue going and getting more difficult. The graphics for this game type looks awful, by the way. It has like no interface, but it's 99 cents, so I can almost forgive that. No reviews, and this came out April 4th. It's a weird product, and you probably could find a better typing game. I'm pretty sure a better typing game actually came out just a few days ago. So yeah, it's really hard to justify suggesting even paying 99 cents for type. If it looked a little bit better, maybe. And it would also kind of need more than one game mode. Like, it says that one person in total has played this game, according to Steam database. An all-time peak of one person. And that certainly seems accurate. Like, people aren't willing to spend even $1 on something that's not visually appealing. I've said it multiple times today. Next game we have is from Microids Indie, which is flooding the internet, flooding Steam with public domain story-based hidden object games that don't really look that bad, but they're always too expensive. So $1.99 for Red Riding Hood Star-Crossed Lovers. Oh, I don't know if I like the Star-Crossed Lovers idea with Little Red Riding Hood. That invokes the idea of Riding Hood being in love with the wolf and bestiality. Like, yeah, if these things were just a little cheaper. They're all people who are getting the new silver and gold creator awards are getting retweeted by YouTube a lot. And like, I don't even think the new awards even look as good as the old ones. But meanwhile, it's amazingly tone deaf, because meanwhile they've kicked out all the small creators, and they've got all kinds of other problems, but they're celebrating the chosen few that were allowed to stay on YouTube. Like the Merrill twins is a good example. Like, I hadn't even heard of them until the CEO of YouTube tweeted them on March 26th. They say they're all into STEM stuff, and then I look at their channel, and they are into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, sort of, but it's little kid STEM stuff. It's put a monitor on a mirror and make a magic mirror. And it didn't seem like they were even doing too much of the work themselves in the first place. It seemed much more like other people were doing the work for them, and they were just branding themselves as being that. And male twins feel like they're just the next version of the Fine Brothers, which the Fine Brothers Entertainment and their React channels have come back into favor with the trending tab. So they're showing up again after the entire YouTube audience specifically said we don't like them and we don't want to support them for them trying to copyright the concept of being a React channel, which everybody else had done already. Nothing today, nothing past the last 23 hours from Susan Wojcicki on her Twitter. So she'll probably make a public statement in a few days about the shooting that happened. I guess I didn't mention that. If you want to, I've already talked about it earlier in this live stream. If you're watching this pre-recorded, I would say go back 2 or 3 days and you'll hear me talk about it. There's still a lot of stuff we probably don't know and we'll learn in the next few days. Next game we have on Steam is called Void Vikings from Uglybeard Games, which has made one other game. It's 25% off for $3.74, which is too expensive. Like, how can I ever justify spending more than $1 on an unknown developer? Somebody who has gotten no press, got no coverage, has a game that's not usually interesting. Like, this game, Void Vikings, as I'm looking at it, looks like it might just be a bunch of asset flips for a 3D space flyer shooter game. Like, battle in space with ugly graphics and overly complicated menus, probably. Looks kind of like a mobile game. It does have a 54 all-time peak as far as let's see. Yeah, I'm about to die. Oops. So some people have been playing this. Has a reasonable 23 achievements, but it's just such an expensive game. Let's see. There are 5 positive reviews and no negative reviews, which is a little suspicious. But the numbers are so small. Yeah, Void Vikings, I guess maybe you would say it looks like a real game. It's just kind of a weird game. There, we made progress on all 3 of the quests. Just not as visually appealing as I would like it to be. It's already at a disadvantage because I don't want to play a space shooter game. Although this seems more like it's single player only, so it's not even a multiplayer game. It seems like it might be a little bit of a roguelike where you go through levels and collect money to get more upgrades. I remember playing games like that on PC in the old days, but the concept now is flawed. Yeah, this is a modern take on something like Asteroids or R-Type, a 3D environment. You're shooting things, you're getting money for killing things and shooting things. Trying to keep the gameplay loop as much as possible going. Yeah, it almost seems a little bit like FTL too. If FTL had an action. Yeah, Void Vikings actually. The more I look at it, the more it sells me on why people might buy it. Like, but I bet you could find something better. What is Steam? As I'm doing mental gymnastics, like they're saying, why don't you play the free-to-play Warframe or Far Cry 5 or Rocket League or Battlegrounds or Starbound or Elix, Deep Rock Galactic. Man, Steam is so bad at matching these new games. So bad. Anyways. Renounced Darkness or draw cards. Interesting. Void Vikings may be the first game I've ever looked at that I started off really negative on and then ended off only mediocrely negative on. Because I guess I couldn't see why people might want to play it if they can't find something better. They probably could find something better on Steam. I imagine if somebody watching right now was to look at Void Vikings and they have an extensive knowledge on space shooter games, they could probably pick something better. Maybe one of the old Star Wars games. So it seems like this text that he's saying is the same text every time. Your Gamer has an article, Sunless Skies big new update adds Albion and Interstellar Heart of the British and the Interstellar Heart of the British Empire. Stellar Skies is probably the game you should be playing instead of Void Vikings, honestly. This is weird. It's like Sunless Skies. What is Sunless Skies? I thought it was just a space game, but now they've got you flying around some kind of destroyed. Let's see, this and this and this. Like you're flying around a destroyed, like, British Empire planet. The game is now expected to arrive this September. So they've added more content that they're going to have when the game is out. And it's apparently a most anticipated game by a bunch of people. Sunless Skies must be a sequel to Sunless Seas. Yes, it is. So, and I remember Eurogamer particularly was very heavily into promoting Sunless Seas, so much so that I'm fairly certain they were getting paid to promote it. And so now they've created a new game that I haven't even heard of that they're coming out, even though Sunless Seas didn't really succeed or get any big coverage. Well, we're slowly closing the tabs out so that we almost have covered everything. So that's good, because that'll mean we can probably wrap up and just play, do a post show. A PC Gamer has an article. Ubisoft outlines its plan for punishing toxicity in team killers in Rainbow Six Siege. Let's see how much of an outline this is. Again, this is another PC Gamer article talking about toxicity, which they've been talking about toxicity in some article almost every single day for at least a week straight. They are certainly pushing an agenda. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. It says, chat monitoring has already been underway since mid-March, but Ubisoft also wants to give players the ability to more directly moderate their interactions by allowing anyone to mute individual players' text chat in addition to voice, which has been sensible for some time. An automated chat filtering system that will censor text chat based on a list of offensive words is on the way as well. It will also track the number of times players trigger the filter, and Ubisoft will take action as necessary for players that are intentionally having a negative impact on other players' gaming experience. Like, here's the question: how can you be intentionally affecting anybody if you're being censored? Like, at that point, you're not affecting anyone, are you? And see, this is part of the scary thing about this, is that they said, or the Fair Play Alliance said, that they were going to try to make different ways of addressing these issues, and it seems like they're not really doing anything different than what has always been there and what should have been in the game at the beginning. If since a lot of it's sensible, like, yeah, an individual should be allowed to mute somebody they don't want to listen to, and they should be allowed to mute them both in text and in the voice. I suppose if you're reasonable on the offensive words and you have a reasonable number of times that it's triggered, there's nothing really there's nothing really too draconian on that, depending on just how much it's enforced. They're also working on improving the systems for dealing with intentional team killers, which is funny because there's a YouTuber that intentionally kills his own team members as a joke, for joke footage all the time, and he's going to get banned from Rainbow Six Siege because that's what he does it in a lot. Let's see, destroy a minion, restore 3 health. Let's see. It says that PC Gamer is suggesting that they might pair bad players with other bad players to lump all the bad eggs into their own basket, which that certainly is a dangerous thing to do, because if your algorithm makes a mistake and sends somebody into the naughty room with all the bad players, you're never going to become a good player and improve your behavior. You're just going to stew and eventually quit the game. Let's see. What am I trying to do? I'm just going to take this for fun. Oops. I just killed myself. Wasn't paying enough attention. Oh well. good news is that for this account, we don't even really need to get but one victory on Tavern Brawl. Let's see. Team Killer changes are expected to go live this year in Season 2, while Channel Mute and Filtering have an ETA of Season 3. Exact start dates for those haven't been set yet. So, it seems like Ubisoft is planning on doing some very basic things that didn't really need to be reported on. And the only reason PC Gamer was talking about it is because they're pushing their agenda that the video games are full of toxic players, which is just a new buzzword. Like, it's the new deplorables, to use a politically charged term. It's just not nuanced. It's a way to not listen to your customers. Like, anyways, moving on. Eurogamer has an article. It's true Steam machines aren't exactly flying off the shelves. Valve responds to reports that the hardware range is demise. They took off Steam machines from the main page on Steam, but apparently you can still buy Steam machines. Valve basically came back and said that they're still wanting to work on things, but it is true that they're not really blowing up the world with Steam machines right now. They're continued to gaming on Linux and all of that. It said, like, recently we've announced Vulkan availability for macOS and iOS, adding its existing availability for Windows and Linux. We've also rolled out Steam shader pre-catching, which will let users of Vulkan-based applications skip shader compilation on their local machines, significantly improving the initial load times and reducing overall run stuttering in comparison with other APIs. That's interesting. Let's keep on playing. I think I'm supposed to also be killing minions. Let's see. Do they have anything else? At the same time, we're continuing to invest significant resources into supporting the Vulkan ecosystem, tooling, and driver efforts. We also have other Linux initiatives. Vulkan is like the new OpenGL, I believe. I really should look it up and do just a Google search of Vulkan. Vulkan API Wikipedia. Vulkan is a low overhead cross-platform 3D graphics compute API. Vulkan targets high-performance real-time 3D graphic applications such as video games and interactive medium. Compared with OpenGL and Direct3D 11 and like Direct3D 12 and Metal, Vulkan is intended for higher performance things. Operating systems Vulkan's run on is Android, iOS, Linux, macOS, Windows, Nintendo Switch, and the Tizen. What is the Tizen? That's probably that Chinese-only console, I think. There you go. The final part of this article says there's no suggestion Valve is working revive the Steam machine. It should say to revive the Steam machine brand anytime soon, but then although we're intrigued to find out what their other initiatives they have in the pipeline. I wouldn't be surprised if, I mean, you really couldn't even revive the Steam machines right now, not with the graphics cards issue and Bitcoin mining. You would have to release something that you called a Steam machine that did not have an NVIDIA graphics card in it, or an AMD graphics card that is very powerful. And that would be very weird. It might work if you were going to go for, this is a very cheap console that can't do that great graphics, but can do a lot more than what, say, the Nintendo Switch could do. There might be a middle ground there that you could catch some people's attention, particularly if you could get it below the initial price of $250, $300 it costs to get a Switch in one game. However, there was a YouTuber that did a review of where Steam machines were as far as how far they've developed and improved in the past. He did it about a week ago, so he had about, I think, 1,000 games on his Steam library, maybe 500, and instead of, and as soon as he filtered games that could run on Steam OS, that dropped down to about 100. So a major amount of games not available to play on Steam OS, and a lot of them are big ticket games that just weren't compatible, and so it's just not a good experience. Your Gamer has another article. The BAFTA winning teen has announced a narrative puzzler for the Nintendo Switch, PC, PS4, and Xbox One called The Spectrum Retreat. BAFTA is the British Arts Film Theatrical Association or something like that. And he was the Young Game Designer Award in 2016. So he's had about a year, maybe two. No, about a year to work on the game, and he's releasing something called Spectrum Retreat. Let's look at the announcement trailer. His name is Dan Smith, by the way. Alright, so the trailer is showing me some nice looking assets. Unfortunately, we all know that these nice looking assets are just pre-purchased assets. And anything pretty these days is it's more about the placement of the assets, and are they interconnected well, or is it over, did you actually animate the door, the floor, the walls, the now it seems, if I am getting from this trailer, like it, let's read the description, because what I think this game is might be a little interesting. It's named The Spectrum Retreat, and it's set in a futuristic Art Deco hotel. The first-person puzzle adventure asks you to uncover the origins of the unsettling retreat and why you're staying there indefinitely. So, yeah, that's really not anything. What I think is this game is going to involve is playing with color, and like sometimes the area you're going to be in is going to have like the red or the green or the blue taken out of the pixels, and you're going to have to play with that. If I'm wrong about that and there is no interesting twist, which there very well may not be, this is going to be a game that walks around a empty area finding objects. This is a point and click adventure with probably very little if no conversation. It's probably going to be short. It's probably going to be boring. What can you really expect from a new developer who did the one thing they shouldn't have done? Like, video game development is so backwards. So backwards. People who are new to video game development need to be going to working the crunch jobs, the low-level programming jobs, the quality assurance jobs. They need to cut their teeth and learn the skills in a established professional environment, so they know what they're doing and they just don't make a game in a vacuum. Meanwhile, the people who are doing those jobs and should be doing those jobs are the experienced veterans that should be going off and making their own games. But the whole industry is totally backwards there. Like, the veterans need that consistency of a paycheck, so they work the low level jobs and don't do anything creative or have any power to create what they want to create. Meanwhile, the kids that are still have very few bills to pay are running off being hyper creative and not learning the basic rules of the road. Darksiders 2, as I'm playing it, feels a lot like that. Their dungeons designs, level designs, artistic decisions, audio decisions, engine problems, all feel like they were made by somebody who knew what they were doing, but it was the first time they had done it with a video game, or the first time they'd been left to their own devices. So they're not doing any of the familiar tropes that you would want to see in a video game, and it makes it very, very weird. It's extremely odd that short boulders are too tall for you to jump over, when it seems like in most games you'd be easily capable of jumping over those boulders. And holes in the wall that show you could potentially just leave the dungeon by going through that hole of the wall have invisible fences in front of them so that you can't actually do that. That's just not intuitive. Anyways, moving on. Your Gamer has another article. This is interesting. Hitman Definitive Edition. It targets a boxed release next month. Ties in with IO's 20th birthday. So, is this Hitman the original Hitman game, which cannot be played because of the engine moving too fast? Or is this Hitman the reboot, the first season? Sadly, I guess it's the reboot, the first season. Hitman's first season is getting a final complete physical edition released next month on the 18th of May. The Hitman Definitive Edition will arrive for the PS4 and Xbox One, complete with, well, everything you'd expect from a Definitive Edition. So, one of the potential issues with Hitman was the fact that if you didn't play it as it was happening, you were left with a lot of feelings that you were never going to be able to have the experience you would like to have, or some experiences at all. It seems like now they've backed off from that, and even though it was episodically or seasonally released, where every week there was a new target, every week there was a new area, or there was little changes at least every week, now it's all getting added to a more traditional game where I can sit down and put 30 to 60 hours in it and do everything. So it includes all Season 1 game locations, the Game of the Year editions, including the Patient Zero campaign, the Summer bonus episode missions, the Bloody Money skin pack, and all other featured contracts and challenge packs released so far. So contracts and challenge packs were the ones. You also get 3 new outfits featuring designs inspired by the developers, other games, Freedom Fighters, Kane and Lynch, and Mini Ninjas. So it's also worth remembering that IO Interactive was owned by another company, and they had to they managed to buy themselves their own freedom from this other company and buy the license of Hitman away from the other company, because it was more their baby than, was it Square Enix that owned them? Let's see. Digital owners will be able to buy this pack separately at a later date. One thing worth noting, not all the above Definitive Edition content will come on disc. You'll need to download a decent chunk. Warner Bros., which is publishing this version, advises you need 12 to 24 gigabytes depending on platform, which presumably the upper end requirement is for the Xbox One X. So yeah, I probably will get the Hitman Definitive Edition at some point and play it. Like, I'm willing to give the reboot of Hitman a chance. I played the Hitman game that was before that Hitman game, and it was corny and not quite what I wanted, but it wasn't too terrible. Let's see. The Spider-Man game apparently is a PS4 exclusive. They probably had already said this, but I just wasn't paying attention. So it's going to launch on the 7th of September. It's hard to really care that it's a PS4 exclusive right now because of the fact that, you know, it may also just be a horrible game. There's been a long line of terrible Spider-Man Marvel games. So until the game is good, and then I'll start to be a little bit upset that if it doesn't come to PC or Xbox. Personally, I'll be upset if it doesn't come to the PC. PC Gamer has an article. A new Overwatch comic delves into the early days of Blackwatch. So if you're big into Overwatch and you want more backstory, you probably already heard about that. It may also hint at a new Pete versus E mission, player versus everyone mission coming soon, eventually. I think I've got my icons back. There's a company called Iron Galaxies that, according to the Unreal Engines blog, is going to bring its fighting game expertise to the fantasy world of Extinction, which I haven't heard of Extinction, so I wanted to see this trailer. Let's see, Modius is making the game and Iron Galaxies is helping. I think Iron Galaxies is more of a helper team more than anything else, that they help other developers finish their projects. There's a lot of companies like that they'll make one game that they are really interested in, and then they need to make more money, so they'll help somebody else make a game. It's not a terrible thought. Well, this game Extinction trailer looks really cartoony. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that's if it was a cartoon. Now it's starting to show the actual 3D models and not just the trailer stuff. It seems like you're in kind of a fantasy world with a lot of trolls and giant ogres and trolls and stuff. So it's like Attack on Titan, basically, except for you're fighting trolls. With Shadow of the Colossus, that might work too, as a reference. But I'd say this is a Western attempt to do an Attack on Titan game. The problem I'm trying to figure out is this game some kind of MOBA or defense, or like city defense, or is it an action story game? I'm gonna have to probably wait and find out more information later, I bet. Let's kill that one. Apparently Extinction is for an older audience because Extinction apparently is coming out on the 10th, or maybe they've got the dates backwards and it's coming out It says it has a deep story campaign, skill-based combat, extinction mode. Doesn't strike to me like it's a MOBA then. It's coming out for PC and everything else, Xbox and PlayStation 4. Let's hit that. Alright, I'm gonna wishlist this game, Extinction. April 10th is when it comes out. It's rated M for mature. Single player only game. And it might be more Attack on Titan than anybody else. The developer is Iron Galaxies, which made Killer Instinct for PC, Dive Kick, and so you're probably going to hear Giant Bomb because they're friends with the people at Iron Galaxies. Interview them pretty soon, and the publisher is oddly Modius, and this is the only game they've ever published. So it's the opposite. Instead of Iron Galaxies helping Modius finish this game, Modius is helping Iron Galaxies sell this game. So that's a game to keep an ear out for, because Modius Extinction will get talked about and will get a little bit of coverage, I'm pretty sure. Keep on playing Demons. Can I play other demons? Let's see, moving on. What is this? Interesting. I got onto this website called digitallydownloaded.net, and they review their games by putting a dot on a grid. And so the top means it's a classical game. The bottom means it's an innovative game. So did it add any innovation, or did it just play with use the classic tropes? The right is thoughtful, where the left is entertaining, which I don't think those are directly opposites. And so you just put the dot somewhere, I guess. What a weird way to review things. Anyways, the reason I got on this website is it's a review for a game called The Witch and the 100 Night 2 for the Sony PlayStation 4. I don't know if this game's coming to the West, and decent chance it's not. Let's do this. And do this. Keep on closing things that don't matter. The toy train set builder Trax has a new update for the farmyard update, which gives you more things to build a farmyard next to your toy tracks. I'm wondering, toy wooden train tracks that they sell, I'm wondering what the age range really is for that compared to like Lego train tracks, which is a little bit more what I am familiar with. But I do want that game tracks. I think that would be a nice experience. Just take this one out. In Japan, Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash is getting the Sunshine Edition that launches July 26th. It has an updated box art re-release, an art box behind it that comes with a mouse pad, where they like to do this in anime things where the boob, there's like two boobs on the mouse pad that you rest your wrist on, and then there's a picture of an anime girl's face where the mouse is on top of. Let's see if there's anything else. It also comes with the Sunshine Swimsuit 5 costume product code. So more costumes. That's all they ever do is they're making, at least it seems like they're making money hand over fist by selling costumes to people. I still feel like Peach Beach Splash is a game worth me trying because it still feels like it's Splatoon on PC. It's just it has a bunch of anime ninja girls instead of squids in bikinis. So like there, you get over that one issue and you may have a decent game. Although I haven't really seen anybody review it and say it's that good. Speaking of probably not good games, Crazy Bowling is on Steam. It came out April 2nd. It has one review. It's 10% off for $2.69. It looks like it might have been a VR game or an attempt to be a VR game at some point, but instead seems like it's a cell phone port of a bowling game with different layouts of bowling balls. So destroy. Do I get more health or do I... Let's get some more health and draw more cards. Yeah, Crazy Bowling doesn't look like it's that interesting to me. The one review is not recommended, garbage mobile point, game can break when ball doesn't go all the way down, vapid and terrible, stay away, and then a YouTube link, which okay. Somebody's doing the work there. Here we've got somebody with a Japanese looking name, Asian looking name, that has just put little eyeballs in the chat. Like, okay, I see you. See, we're almost done. We need to play 2 more demons and do some more damage. So yeah, no to Crazy Bowling on Steam. I'm forever drawn to ThinkGeek's Pokemon Snorlax Beanbag Chair for $150. I don't think I could ever justify buying that, but I definitely do want it. It's just too expensive. It probably won't be even as good quality as it looks on the pictures. Gametsu has Dragon Quest VR activity coming to the VR zone in Shinjuku on April 27th. So if you're in Shinjuku district of Tokyo on April 27th, you can do the Dragon Quest VR, which is not very many people, I'm sure. I wonder how, I guess whenever they do these public VR things, I guess there's just a lot of cleaning and wiping the Oculus Rifts to make sure germs don't get past. I'm looking at PC Gamer's What You Missed This Week article, which I'm looking at to see if I actually missed any of these games, or are we at the point where I am actually looking at every new game that comes on Steam, so I don't need to look at recaps by other people. Well, this game Despoiler came out March 30th. I don't think I looked at that one. Oh, I need to be careful. Play the game. Yeah, I think I did look at Despoiler. Mixed reviews, 66% of 12 reviewers. Yes, I did look at this game. It didn't have enough gameplay in it, even though it did look a little good. It's almost a list going week to week. It's more of a list of games that almost are good enough to play. Because so few games are actually good enough to play. So when I try to evaluate and say, is it even worth my time to look at all these games? I still kind of have to say yes, because we've got more daily quests on Hearthstone to do. It's literally the daily quests on Hearthstone that are taking up all my time. And I found by covering these games, even if 99.99% of them are garbage, gives me something to talk about. Versus the post show, which we're still going to have to do a post show today, but usually we're not. Gematsu has an article, Cinco no Ronde 2 PS4 limited physical run edition announced. Never heard of Cinco no Ronde, so that's probably not come to the West, or it's been translated to something else. If it's a PS4 only game, that gives more argument that it's probably never been released in the West. Gamma Sutra has an article, Get a Job, 2K Games is hiring a lead technical artist. So if you want to work at Novato, California for 2K Games, apparently 2K Games is opening a new team. Interesting. Because it says, hello, we're starting a new team here at 2K to surprise, make a video game. We're a small, scrappy group of tons of ambition and resources, so to see it realized is pretty rare these days. Think of us as a well-funded startup, but without the gross tech cultural trappings. This opportunity is to join an incredible project on the ground floor. Yeah, if you're a new programmer, even if you're an old programmer, like working for 2K Games might be a good idea. You might come to regret it, because it might just be working on a sports game or something too, but I would at least give them a chance. This is interesting. Here's what's important to them: honesty, diversity, collaboration, opportunity, your well-being. So, like, this sounds like a nice job. At least it's being advertised as a nice job. So, even if you are just making a new FIFA game or something, it's got a nice pitch. So many job pitches, they sound horrible. It's like, why would I even want to apply to work for this horrible company? You don't even promote your game, your company, right? Alright, so I'm at the Humble Bundle. The Humble Indie Bundle has 5 days to go. If you pay $1, you'll get 3 games. If you pay over the average of $6.22, you'll get 5 more. All worthwhile. If you pay the maximum of $14, you'll get Super Hot on top of the other games. So for $1, you get Halcyon 6 Lightspeed Edition, Mini Metro, and Raccoon. For $6.22, you'll get Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, the regular version. I don't think you get the VR version too. Maybe you do. I don't know. You get Soma, you get Polybridge, you get Action Hank, and you get Judge JYDGE. And then $14 gets you Super Hot. That's one game bundle. The other game bundle, I guess, is gone. I guess it ended. The Humble Jumbo bundle is gone. So they have some other book bundles, but those don't ever interest me. Let's play this, this, and this. So whenever I get to the bundles in the Humble store, that tells me I'm done with news. Therefore, I should go back to Twitter and see if there's any new news that happened. And this will be our last recording into the post show, which we've got still a considerable amount of stuff to do. We've got to probably still get a victory on the Tavern Brawl, because decent chance we're gonna not succeed on this. And we may have to get one more of the daily quest done, and then we've got all of the Americas account, and we'll go look at the Americas account and just double check. Let's see. So here we go, from the more information from the shooter that happened 3 hours ago. It says, "Dear creators, we have appreciated your support for the last 24 hours. Thank you for everyone who made videos, tweeted, and reached out to YouTube during this difficult time. Your support means more than you realize." Now, here's the thought, though. I honestly felt like some people that made videos were censored and blocked, because I didn't see anybody make a video until almost 12 to 24 hours after the incident, when there's more than enough opportunistic YouTubers out there that would have been on immediately with no information whatsoever. And then they're quoting YouTube, which that was YouTube creators that said that. "Dear YouTube, as you know, yesterday was an incredible, difficult day for our teams in San Bruno and around the world. Thank you much for your concern and support. All of us are working here at YouTube are very grateful for this amazing community." So the boilerplate just saying thank you and not really responding or saying anything else. I imagine that is going to be the official word for well, pretty much ever. Let's see. I should have played that first. Tim, what is his name? Tim of Legends. He needs to change his name so people actually can remember what it is. The guy that runs Double Fine is going on kind of funny games to play against somebody else in some kind of March Madness thing. I guess that's not really news. It's just kind of weird. Let's see, do we have anything else that's really new news? PC Gamer has an article, Overwatch League matches keep getting better as the worst teams up their game. So there's more competition. Let's see. What else? Apparently PAX East has started. There's a game called Endless Mission we'll talk about on Friday, I guess. So how are we? We've got everything done except for the fact that we didn't get the Tavern Brawl victory. So that's more in the post show. Right now we can open these packs. If I get any packs in the post show, I'll save them for Friday. No real reason to open them. This is like the 4th or 5th card pack I've opened where I've just gotten commons and 1 rare. They're not being very generous with the cards. Like, I've got no epics, no legendaries, no goldens. And I've opened like 4 packs today. And since this is my European account, only one of those was one that we didn't have. So let's look at all the new cards we got. Mark them. Let's see, we got a bunch of those and a lot of duplicates of those too. A lot of duplicates of those. And this is standard cards, but that's fine. So let's switch over now to the Americas account. Now I can cheat the Americas account with my secondary login and just play myself. Or I could cheat it playing other people if anybody wanted to play me, but I don't think today's a good day to really do that. So yeah, what are we here? Tavern Brawl, and you kind of have to trade this one. Deal 100 damage. Win 7 games, any mode. I can cheat that actually pretty easily too. By just playing the solo adventure. So that just leaves me with scrolling down the news. So let's see if there's anybody to spectate. No, there isn't. Do we have any card packs to find? The creator of Valve News Network just got his first 1 million views. Good for him, I suppose. I'd love to get 1 million views on any one of my videos. Eventually that might happen. Probably about the time when everybody gets 1 million views because there's 20 billion people on the planet. So I'm scrolling down Twitter, just trying to get back to where we were like 4 hours ago. Like 3 hours ago, Hearthstone episode 870 came out. We'll be approaching, by the end of the year, I guess we might be approaching 1,000. Seems about right. Maybe even close. Apparently there's an action RPG called Moonfighter or Moonlighter. Oh yeah, I know that game, Moonlighter, where you play as the shopkeeper. So they're talking about a game that's already been announced. Chasm, we've already heard about that game. Let's see, PUBG's Compact Savage map gets squads while the beta key signups have been reopened. 4 hours ago, Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration episode 56 aired. So, Rise of the Tomb Raider, still playing that. There's a lot of games on my channel that are going to air this year where, because they're 30-minute episodes, it's just going to go on for a very long time. Apologies if that irritates people. There's a lot of old footage of other games for people to check out. So 4 hours ago, we started streaming, and we've covered all the news. There wasn't really that much of news. We were surprised by Mahmood coming back into the chat. Certainly, I'd kind of forgotten that he left to study for his finals. It's nice to see old people come back to the chat, because that tells me that people who have subscribed to my channel actually can see it and know it's still there and can choose to come back if they want to, and B, that I haven't just driven away all of my older fans by being annoying. That's going to be it for the talking portion of this stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. When you subscribe, click the notification bell, even if you don't think you need to. If you want to support me, well, if you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites like Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, Facebook, all of those links are down below in the description box. If you want to support me even further, gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.